Welcome back once again, everybody, to Polaris. We just saw Human Tripwires take the first map in the series against H2O, and it seemed pretty dominant. I don't want to say that they're running away with things, but as we head here onto ASCENT, it's looking like H2O are running out of problems. Once again, I'm Twiggy, I'm joined here by Got Moxie. How you doing, Vicky? What are you thinking coming into ASCENT?
I mean, I think we might have a very short ascent if we don't see H2O fix some of those major problems. Because yes, we're moving map, yes, that means a whole new composition gets to be meta and viable, but I don't think it's really something that you can fix. It's just that mentality, right? The fact that you were able to let your opponents get so much space, and even after they did the exact same thing, the exact same strategy of getting someone really deep into your mid ground and cutting you off from those positions, you still weren't ready and prepared to deal with it. And Ascent is really hard fought when it comes to that mid ground, because if you don't have control of mid and you're trying to rotate from those sites, it takes so long. And it is something I think that H2O are going to have to deal with if they want to be able to try and turn things around.
And they really didn't have any opportunities to show it off, but I do get the feeling that there was this big want from H2O when they're on that defensive side to go round and go for flanks. It's going to be very difficult to do that on Ascent. You're always pretty much going to be playing a Sentinel that's going to be able to stop you from doing it. Plus, there's just not quite the same amount of corners and cover to be able to work with to move up progressively through the back line. It's going to be a pretty different playstyle. You know, going for that defensive aggression, I don't think is going to be as effective. What do you think they're going to employ to try and take the fight back to Human Tripwires here?
Yeah, I would say you don't really want to go for that defensive aggression because KO finds a big home in Ascent, and those flash drives are really good at punishing very early levels of aggression. What I would love to see is them just actually trying to fight for pockets and separate these fights out. It wasn't really something that we saw coming from H2O. A lot of the time they got very greedy and tried to go for a whole map control of everything. They wanted 100% control of areas, but I think if they really try and focus on these small pockets of the map instead of going for fights one versus however many of players they run into, which is something that we saw Alex get punished with on that Neon, if they play the buddy system and they try and build up that synergy, allowing things like the initiators to be able to set up their duelists much better, then I think we're going to be able to even find a lot more value.
Yep, we're seeing pretty much what I would call standard kind of lineups apart from that Neon here coming through on this one. Obviously, you know, like this is one where Astra is still viable, so Hattie is going to be picking up the Astra for H2O, but obviously that Sova and that KO, the two initiators that are so important on this map, are going to be picked for both teams, and we're going to see pretty standard stuff coming through. We're not really seeing a big Sentinel coming through apart from, obviously, Chamber, who we don't really consider a big old, you know, he's kind of a Sentinel in the same way Sage is a Sentinel. He's not quite as powerful as Killjoy or Cypher. So, you know, different playstyles coming through here, and I get the feeling, I mean, I hate to say it, H2O are looking like they're going for an aggressive defense comp.
Jack of all trades, master of none is essentially what Chamber is, but you know what it isn't? It's a Jet, Twiggy, it's a Jet. And Devo is going to be coming out on the Jet, and there's a reason. You think about updrafts, you think about the amount of damage that those knives can do with Bladestorm. There's some really sneaky, punishing areas of this map where you are not expecting a Jet to be able to double jump and still find a massive eyeball. Places like onto rafters. That's going to be moves that are not available for H2O. Once again, yes, they're starting off an attack this time around, but it's still the exact same problem they faced in the previous. How do you get cleanly onto these sites without losing your players? You have to let JAF control the space because they still want that chamber. So now the Neon has fallen to the controller.
Yeah. Now this time they're going to be starting on attack. It's probably what they're much more comfortable on with this kind of composition. But Robbie is just going to start things out once again. That Neon just taking a little too much space, getting a little too far forward, getting punished for it. And it means now, you know, H2O, they don't really have their pick of the litter when it comes to planting that spike. They're going to get it down on A, but I get the feeling Human Tripwires, they wanted to play a retake from the beginning, all of them playing in mid. They're just going to try and fight their way out from there. Trying to retake A now as it comes all the way around. Alex is going to take down Devo, who was carrying a Sheriff. Absolutely no armor available there, no abilities whatsoever. Human Tripwires are going to get on site. They're just going to start defusing. I don't care. They're going to get taken down systematically though, and H2O starting things off with another impressive pistol round from what it looks like, unless Robbie can bring out some heroics here. One headshot, no more than that. They do take the pistol round once again, H2O. And it's looking like they're one saving grace here.
I love the play that H2O actually use. JAF does take far too much space, goes so further forward that Alex is not actually able to try and look for that trade when the neon falls. But what it means is that human tripwires, they don't see any backup on the neon, and they think, okay, space cleared, angle cleared, no one's going to push through market, we're fine to move through mid. And it means that Alex gets entire run of mid. Is able to find one on the cross and then move up into tree and just hold that crossfire, not allowing human tripwires to get the defuse safely off.
H2O, they didn't manage to compound it into a second round. Last map. Can they do it this time? Oof. Just waiting around right now. Playing it slowly, waiting for human tripwires to be the first to make an error. Alex now is going to find the first pick. Embo around the corner with a shorty. Hopeful at best, I think, there. But, oh, Mucky could have found the first there. Ananas is just able to take down the player. They will manage to open things up nicely for them. It's going to be, I think, again, exit frags for human tripwires. Devo finds the first. There's Alex, weakened a little bit. Taken down with a body shot. But a lot of work to do for these two players coming around from behind, and the last player trailing all the way Radsky from mid.
Oh, they're pushing this. They're gonna have to clear wine though. There's the flash, and Robbie not able to keep the Bulldog in for that next round. Now it is just a case of trying to find those picks, the exits. This H2O, they're gonna have to try and move up the rafters, take that high ground.
Oof. Devo goes massive with 3. Not gonna find any more. They can just... Well, I mean, that's a lot of ultimate points.
Oh.
Going to take away 4 from that round after that death to the spike. So, I mean, honestly, I would say, all things considered, human tripwires can be very happy with the result of that round.
Yeah, almost got that half of the stick as well on the defuse, but this is the round that human tripwires were waiting to buy into. This is the full rifles. And it sort of feels like we're watching the team swapped mentalities, right? The fact that human tripwires are getting caught out by Alex, who's going for these flanks on that chamber. Getting a lot of space. It really does feel like they've just swapped problems.
I don't think H2O are going to be too hopeful about getting too much out of this round. They have a Bulldog, they have a Spectre, but apart from that, they're not going to be working with much in this one. They are going to keep playing just as confidently as they were before. The spray through the smoke is going to find Mucky. Losing one rifle there. I'm not sure they're going to manage to get through and get that rifle off the ground, H2O, but managing to take away some economy from the team. We're hard pressed to buy into this round. Take a look. 0, 100, 150. Not much to work with coming into the next round. That's going to be very... that's going to make them quite happy. Yeah, now they just have to figure out what they want to do with the rest of the round.
It's forcing Embo to stay anchored on the A as well. The Omen not able to move has to make sure that H2O don't have the space to be able to walk onto side and pick up the rifle from the downed KO. It is going to be the A site that H2O are eyeing up once again. Alex poised in position to punish a sloppy rotation from human tripwires if they don't clear when they want to get onto the other half of this map. But Devo has rafters, and it is going to force Fastlane out as the rest of the team move through.
Ooh. Well, JAF was not ready for somebody to be in that position. Embo finds the first, gets back around the box. Devo coming to the rescue to take some pressure off. Ananas is able to take down a flashed out Embo, but Devo is quick with the headshot. Just flick and find one more. Alex comes round. He's not going to get killed by him. He's on 3 kills already. Just had he left, they've done a lot of damage to human tripwires, but can they take away the round? It's not looking likely. Spike in hand for Hattie, but he's not going to be able to plant without a bit of pressure from the human tripwires players. Hattie hunting. Devo finding, manages to find that 4th headshot. They'll take their first round. It was hard fought, but decent. Get it on the board.
Yeah, but still, a couple of players downed. Not quite as cheap as they were wanting, as human tripwires now going to be, once again, not on the best of buys coming on through. But Devo just being up in rafters, getting all of those picks, just entirely uncontested until Alex peeks out from window. It's just able to do so much. All of that ground that H2O were trying to open up with when the fast lane starts off, they just can't find any of the space that they're looking for. Because now we are really starting to see a problem with this composition. JAF is going forward extremely aggressively, a fast lane being used extremely early to try and move up, has forced Devo back into Pizza. The shot's missing. That's not one that Devo wants to be walking back on.
Yeah, he had the Blade Storm out and then just got suppressed at the exact right moment. It was a good lineup from Ananas there to make sure that anybody playing in Pizza would not have a very easy time doing that one. Obviously, you have a little bit of time before you pull out that secondary weapon if you are using that Blade Storm. So Devo actually found himself completely staggered by that one and completely killed. So H2O with more strategical awareness coming into this one at the very least. But can they compound that into a little more? Robbie has something to say about that one, and that is no. He does not want that to happen. Going to be forced out of the Owl Drone, but in comes Radsky from Market to make things a little more difficult for H2O. It's now the defense that is going to be so much more difficult for them. They have to get that spike down, and the pressure is mounting from Human Tripwires. Radsky still in that position. You can see him, and then that's too much to deal with. That's a little bit of sensory overload. Radsky finds another. Only had he left. Pushed down. That'll be it. Human Tripwires will take their second round, and that really was well formulated.
Yeah, H2O able to get the spike down, but not able to get the space and the breathing space. So be able to set up in those post-plant positions, which make it really hard to break back onto that B side. Places like Boathouse, where you have to invest a lot of utilities to try and clear those angles, force those players into taking fights as you move out through lane. H2O was denied all of that. And Human Tripwire is able to very quickly tip the momentum back into their favor as Devo thinks about the operator. It is a costly investment, but with no jet on the other side, you are going to constantly have the upper hand in that first point of contact. However, it is a costly one, the most expensive in the game, and they are going to go for a little bit more of a consistently viable choice and pick up a Vandal instead.
Through mid, go H2O. Mookie is completely flashed. Both players are completely flashed, and JAF can't find the kill before he gets on the flash there. Mookie able to find it just about. That could have spelled disaster for the team, though. It's now they're just able to hold this one down. It doesn't matter. Hattie is able to find a head over towards mid, but they still don't have any map control. They still have nothing to work with. The spike is down over towards their own spawn, and they don't have a plan left to get through here. Embo holds down a main. Only 2 players left. And they're just looking. I mean, what can you do? You can't even play exit frags. You're on the attack. Everything is on you. They just have to try and make kills happen here. And Mookie is going to be holding down one area. And then the rest is just history, let's see. Suppress each other.
He's not even, like, giving up this position either. Just waiting to see if Ananas is going to take this duel. Both guys do have flashes. It's a really good dark cover, but Mako is definitely of an upper hand. He has 2 flash drives as opposed to Ananas' 1.
Yeah.
And with the amount of HP Ananas is on, that flash drive might not even matter.
30 seconds left.
Okay. I can't believe this fight is still going on. Like, honestly, he flashed and he manages to just spray him down. That's what happens when you're on 5 HP there. It was 8, actually. Sorry. Misinformation. It's just Hattie left. Found 1 kill earlier in the round. Will not be able to find the kill from behind him. But finishes it off, and Human Tripwires are ramping up the momentum just a little bit now.
Can we just get like a third observer? 1 for free cam, 1 for first person, and then 1 that just follows these KOs?
Yeah, the KOs that seem to have a grudge against each other here. That fight went on for genuinely 40 seconds of that round.
Yeah, do you know what? It feels like they're British, Twiggy. It's 2 British people trying to get through a double door. One
sorry,
says,
wait.
Oh no, you go.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Excuse me. Sorry.
It really embodies that energy, but finally we're going to be seeing the operator coming out from Devo. As JAF once again is going to try and move onto that A site right into the op.
It's not happening. Devo gets away as well. Doesn't even... Oh no, does commit the dash, sorry. But they do have sight here, H2O. They can get the spike down, but how much is that going to help you in this round? Especially when you need to win it, honestly. You know, getting that spike down is not going to give you enough economy unless you get at least 2-3 kills to even half buy into the next round. Now, Human Tripwires, they can take this at their own pace. No ults available. Sorry, 1 ult available. They do have the teleport from the shadows there. Robbie finds 1. Devo is taken down, and that is their main aggressor in this retake. Alex finds Mookie as well. It's a 3v3. Now they need to make space happen before the spike ticks down too low. Alex finds another onto Embo. He's going off in this round. Ananas trying to hold down Heaven and does find 1. It's Radsky to finish it off, but nothing will come of it. 3 players left on H2O are managing to hold on to the site. They make it 3 rounds against 3.
Yeah, it's a costly sacrifice, putting in your Neon. to pull Idevo's position, but it is off of the back of the null command. They're not expecting human tripwires to be holding that ground, which is why the dash does go through so quickly. But H2O use that as a distraction, are able to get onto the A site, force all of human tripwires up into rafters, and from there you can just place funnel how they're able to get back onto that site, and all the while the spike is just ticking down faster and faster until it's about to detonate. And human tripwires, even if they won the fight, I don't think they would have had a whole lot of time to be able to get that successfully through. And it is timeout coming through from this team because they were the ones. They invested into that round. They bought the operator. They thought, okay, this is the round where we're going to be able to shut them down, shut their economy out. And it did not turn out to be that way.
Yeah, this is not the same kind of timeout as last map where they used the timeout just to slow down H2O and make sure that they weren't thinking about doing anything special. You know, at that point it was probably 5-1, I think, two human tripwires. This time it's not quite working out for them. They are on the defense to begin with, and H2O definitely did look a little more comfortable on attack. But if they don't manage to kind of take this half away in a favorable way, it's going to send the momentum a bit towards H2O. You know, you talk about momentum and you think, how much can that actually really impact the game? But I think in a matchup like this, H2O really play off the momentum. And if they do get a good first half, which is possible, they could make this game happen. Dembo holding down mid, and he's ready for the push from JAF. That's what happens if you do the same thing twice in a row. JAF taken down, and there it is. The Neon again, just not quite managing to take human tripwires enough off guard. The adaptation from this team has been perfect so far on both maps we've seen.
Yeah, I'd really like to see a little bit more finesse coming out from the Neon, trying to enter in, as opposed to going with the wrecking ball sort of approach. And just swinging straight through. But they have been able to get a little bit further onto the B side. Cosmic Divide is allowing them to try and section off the site, but no one's cleared Ratsky. They move up lane, but there's the Killjoy. Out goes Alex. Raya just not able to dodge out of the Hunter's Fury or into the Killjoy. Not able to keep themselves alive. So it's just a hunt for an Ananas who's just below, and it's a mercy killing at that moment.
I mean, from Radsky, I think what they would say in a you know, team ball game kind of thing is well left. Well left there. He just leaves him alone to push up lane by himself. He knows there's one player over towards button. He can just turn around the corner, get this kill. You can see, just gives up on sight. Knows if he stays there, you know, maybe gets 1 or 2 kills. But either way, he's going to die. He's going to lose economy for the team. And they are not struggling for economy, but they do need every weapon coming into this next round. So it's well played from him just to not overcommit to stuff and not get a bit too aggressive. This is kind of the difference I've seen between the two teams, is H2O go over the top a little bit.
Yeah. They're still trying to find that balance to be able to properly utilize this Neon, and it's not a pick that they really use a whole lot of, right?
Yeah.
So you can see it's a little bit of a teething issue, especially when Overdrive comes out for both JAF and on the previous round Alex, and I think it's going to be interesting to see whether or not they do try and allow JAF a little bit more space to breathe with the ultimate by using something like the Hunter's Fury, as Alex once again has been able to just sniff out from mid, trying to pick onto Embo, and it is triggering that lockdown to come through. Hunter's Fury should be able to pick it out. And there it is, going to be destroyed. But Ananas is the true killer right now. Yeah,
they did not check that corner with the Aldro in there. They just checked straight under Heaven there and did not think about Ananas's position, because he's sat there before. They did not think about it though, and now that does give Ananas his ult. Does move into the next round. And I think now H2O, they're feeling pretty good. Obviously it's not easy. You know, but they are holding off human tripwires, something that they just did not do last map whatsoever. This is, you know, it's not a map that we expect them. It's not their comfort map. They did pick it, but it's not one that they feel incredibly comfortable on, like Fracture. So, you know, this is impressive.
Ooh, Twiggy, this is new. Split composition going to be coming out from them. JAF once again are going to be using that fast lane to get through mid, trying to push any player out into Pizza into the 0 point. Isn't going to suppress any player. Human tripwires have learned that this setup is there and they're not going to get punished, but what I'm keeping an eye on is whether or not we're going to see the null command be invested, because H2O, when they used null command before, it's always been the brute strength approach, right? You activate the ultimate, you move onto the site you want to push onto. What could really put a spanner into the works of human tripwires mentality? So if you go for the fake play, activate the ultimate, and then push in a different space entirely.
Yeah. Well, JAF's push over towards Pizza. No fruit from that one, just Pizza. So
No
doesn't
pineapple
manage-
on your pizza?
Yeah, exactly. He didn't find any fruit from it, so yeah, that's a meat lover's delight there. But it does mean that it slows them down so much. If they don't find that opening pick, suddenly they're waiting, and this is not a playstyle that they like. Anas does find the kill onto Mucky. Again, those KOs at each other's throats, but they're still slowed down. There's still only 30 seconds left in the round. They still haven't formulated a plan yet. They really only have a little bit of position. They have
30
mid control.
seconds left.
That's about it.
They have null command though.
Yeah.
And if you want to get onto a site fast, that is definitely one of those ultimates that you can use, and there it is. It's going to be activated. Nano Swarm's actually going to be coming on through, so all of that momentum the H2O were trying to get with the KO ultimate has been slowed down. It's forcing JAF to use the overdrive. Is able to find one, but you're still running out of time. The spike needs to go down. They have to plant it in the middle of a scrap.
Standing.
They're still managing to hold them off. The bodyguard strat, they get the spike down. The bodyguard strat works perfectly inside the dark cover, just managing to keep them away from that spike planter. They don't know where it is. They do manage to get it down. H2O, in the nick of time, come up with a strat that somehow works incredibly well. I don't understand that whatsoever, but they do commit 2 ults. It's not like it was not expensive for them. They did have to commit a lot to get that one done, and it wasn't a situation that they wanted to be in whatsoever.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I love as well that Riot is actually playing outside of the dark cover, just planting the spike behind it.
Yeah.
Sort of using it as a human shield almost, but here's something else that's going to be coming on through.
Now for something
coming out
completely
from
different.
Alex.
Oh
JAF is able to find Embo. The Neon getting that aggression, the fact that
Yeah.
H2O before had gone very passive, now Human Trip was not expecting that change up in momentum. It's buying them a lot of picks.
The Blade Storm comes straight out from Devo after that first pick, and contesting mid. Oh, sees the head of one. Has to get away from that, and going to be pushed even further now. Oh, but Radsky finds 1 and 2 coming through B main. They now have control of the spike, and that completely turns the tables in this round. It doesn't matter how many kills JAF got through over there on A short. If your spike is down, and the Sentinel is controlling it, Radsky can just hold this corner. Almost has a reposition on that turret available. Could just sit here and wait. And now it's only fake Ananas left coming through on market. You have to break that wall. Has to take his time. 40 seconds left to retrieve the spike, get it down. Probably get 2 kills on this one as well. And Devo's just watching from lane with the Blade Storm. You got Radsky holding Dominion over the spike, and one player completely unknown. Fake Ananas has
30
to
seconds
clear
left.
every single corner, and there's just not enough time.
Yeah. The horrible fact is that the alarm bot went off, so he had to shoot it, and then he had to break through the doors, just giving away his position. He has no information. He knows now where Devo is, but he has no clue what the rest of the team is playing. And he has to push up, try and get into that spike. It's 13 seconds left. Knows that the killjoy is there, but not able to find the pick. It would have taken an absolute miracle, Twiggy, to survive that one.
Yep.
Not quite able to find the magic in the hat.
Here's the thing, right? H2O, their timing on the executes they go for, the quick pushes with the neon, their timing with the flash, with the suppresses, everything, so well formulated. And it does seem like they have, you know, very specific kind of setups for that.
Yeah.
But it's working for the first half of the round, and then suddenly Human Tripwise slows them down. And then things go a little, you know, we need to adapt to this. We don't have enough time. We're running out of stuff. It's twice now that they've almost run out of time in the round, and they've been forced to do something completely off the rip. It's worked once. It hasn't worked the other time. I don't think that's their playstyle. They want to make something work in the way that they like. And as soon as that goes out of you know, order, suddenly Human Tripwise have the advantage.
Oh, well, JAF is once again gonna try and get aggressive. It's stopped in the tracks and just absolutely annihilated before you're able to step onto the A side. Ambo from Wine is gonna be peeking out with that crossfire setup. You try and challenge the Omen, you're gonna be running right into Robbie on the Sova. And oh, again, you can see the problems. It's a little bit pear-shaped for H2O, right? They have these set plays. They really like to go for the exact same levels of pushes. We saw that in the past iteration, it would be the 0 point into the Neon Dash with Fastlane, making sure that you survive the move through into mid. You can clear the players suppressed in Pizza and move on to the B side that way. But Human Tripwise adapted by just giving up that space entirely.
Right.
Then H2O were like, okay, we're going to push onto the A side, but we're going to take it from Tree. And Human Tripwise adapted.
Yeah, Human Tripwires seem like the more flexible team. That is just it so far. H2O not able to adapt at the same speed. Although, I check him PC because JAF just double headshots Robbie through the smoke. Just to make that one happen. It's now Radsky stuck at backside, put down to 2 HP. Gonna have to hold this one. Completely flashed up several times. Finds one head. Gonna look for the second. Not quite gonna happen. Riz turns around the corner. Mucky finding Alex now. It's a 3v3. They can retake this one if they want to quickly, but they're just gonna slow it down. Once again, H2O again play off that momentum, and Human Tripwires seem to have their number on that. Mucky spraying through the wall, finds the first. Now they just need to come all the way in, make it happen quick. JAF finds the first onto Devo. The duelist is doing so much work for H2O, and it seems like that's just the name of the game right now. It's just Embo left to find the first kill. It's a 1v1 now left, except Mucky is still on the floor. Can you get that one? JAF is not going to let that happen. A spray through the wall finds the head of Embo and finishes off the last 2 players.
Oh, that gets dangerous. When Null Command activates, Mucky just needs that 1 kill, and the wallbang is just enough to get the ultimate online. But of course, Null Command isn't locked down. You can still shoot. Something that JAF is able to take to full advantage. He does ensure that H2O is able to pick up another round as they move on to the defense. And we've seen adaptation come through from them. We've now seen 3 different strategies in their pushes. What I want to see is defensive rounds from them, because this was what they struggled with. We saw that very moment of aggression that found a lot of early value, but after that they struggled to be able to find any sort of different way of approaching Human Tripwires and stopping them from getting onto those sites. And once again, it was that problem of pacing.
Scanning ahead.
Well, with a 6-6 half, we do have a blank slate for the rest of the game. It is whether H2O can keep up in this defensive half here. They managed to get 2 last map on the defense. They're going to need a lot more than that if they want to keep a hold of this, and they're just going to be holding down this area on A short. Haddy is quick with the headshots. He'll find 2. Embo is going to have to back all the way up. Ananas finds a second for the team, the third for the team, sorry, with the nade there. They can just back all the way out of this one. H2O a little bit aggressive, not quite as much as on Haven, but it's working for them.
Oh, gorgeous crossfire coming on through. And now Human Tripwires, they're reduced to 2 players. You can try and look for these picks, and Ananas has used an awful lot of that utility, has only got the flash drives, isn't able to pop the flashes in time. And they're making so much with very little. Human Tripwire is able to move safely from mid onto the A site, get the plant as well. Problem now is, do they have enough time to be able to cross into Hell? Radsky has to sacrifice a little bit of HP to let Robbie get a little bit closer. Now you can punish when JAF wants to drop down, but they're not able to find the neon in time. And once again, JAF is able to carry H2O for another round.
Thanks.
Cheers, JAF. Sun's crying. JAF just rips away the dreams of Human Tripwires at several opportunities, whenever it is possible. It just seems like, H2O... look, last map, Human Tripwires seemed like they had them by the throat. They were just able to finish things off quickly. H2O never have seemed in control fully. But they make it work so many times. They're able to make things work. There's moments of individual brilliance that get them across the line. And even though it's not convincing, it's working.
A bit tricky. Okay, they've actually moved away. It looked for a moment like H2O were going to do that same crossfire route of the KO and the Astra. But they're actually going to cross the KO in with the Neon and the Chamber to push into mid, potentially. And this is not expected. This is adaptation. This is a new strategy. The H2O have been able to use off their own hands rather than being forced, because Human Tripwires have been able to predict it, forcing them out of their comfort zone and to find something new, and it's found value.
Well, Human Tripwire's firing back. Spike is down in mid. Ananas looking for the kill. Riyadh is going to pick it up first, and it's only 2 casualties for H2O, which is quite nice for them. I mean, they've started things off a lot better on the defensive half than they did last map, and that's exactly what they want. They just need to push this momentum a little further. JAF on that Neon seems to be the ticket that they needed to head forward a little bit. It's not like the whole team is dominating the other team. You can see only him has more kills than deaths at this point, whereas you look at Human Tripwires, 3 of them have more kills than deaths, but that's not the picture that we're looking at here, because the way H2O are winning is off of 1 player going for those aggressive plays, everybody else backing them up.
Here. And they look a lot more comfortable too, because remember, this is their map pick.
Yeah.
Haven, they were forced to against the grain. And now it does seem like human tripwires are the ones really struggling and trying to figure out what to do, and they're falling back into that same attack strategy that they had on Haven. See whether H2O are going to be the undoing of their own team stratagem. If they're going to push too far forward, something that we were seeing when that nuance first came through. But the teething issues have settled. The terrible 2s and 3s we've passed into, and now they've matured into the 4s and 5s.
Well, human tripwires, they know they have that economic advantage. They know, once again, so many times this has happened now, they've lost the first 2 rounds in the half, they come back in the third. They know that they need to make this happen with minimal casualties, and that is why they're playing so slowly. Riyadh in the corner. Devo's going to be able to get the kill before he finds anything there. Had he fully flashed and stuck on stairs, Devo will find the second, and this is really where Devo comes into play. You've let JAF have your turn. My turn now. Let's go through. Let's get those entry frags, and when you're playing Jet, that's a real bit of a, you know... Team flash. Very nice. And an ass. Let's all laugh at him. It's just Alex left. Not able to find any with the headhunter. Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh at you. It was quite funny.
Yeah. It's always really tough as well when Fastlane's up to try and figure out where you want to flash, where your Neon's actually standing.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
Fastlane, very much like Cosmic Divide, it can be a double-edged sword. A little bit harder to pick out where your teammates are in the midst of the rave going on over your screen. As human, I would love that. Just you know what? Instead of when Neon activates the overdrive, just give a glow stick.
Start playing Bass Hunter, just at full volume, on a cracked out speaker. Let's just. I'm not gonna sing any because you know, Bass Hunter.
Copyright infringement.
The Devo opens things up once again. JAF needs to find some value here, but doesn't find more than one. They're all just ready for that. Again, slowed down H2O. Doesn't really have much to work with. Once Human Tripwires takes control of the pace, H2O fall apart at the seams. It's happened then. It's happened so many times throughout this series. It's happened right there. Now it's just Riyadh left. 1 versus 4. Lots to work with, but apart from that, I mean, you've got to retake against everybody, and there's people waiting for you around every corner.
Yeah, and now Hunter's Fury as well, to try and get a little bit of cheeky information or some picks. And we are seeing the same very big problem for H2O coming up in these defenses, right? They failed to get one defensive round, they fell back into that overly level of aggression. Something that, again, human tripwires have been waiting. They know that H2O have been mixing up a lot of their pacing in the first half. They know that, okay, maybe they didn't push us as aggressively on the defense as they did Haven, but as long as we just spare a couple of moments, we could start off this round at a massive advantage. And it really is paying off dividends, whereas H2O, they're feeling a little bit pressured. They're being forced out of their comfort zone. They're not able to have these crossfires set up that human tripwires walk into. Instead, it's very much being given their own medicine.
Well, back to 8-8, back to the even numbers, and this time H2O are on the back foot. Human tripwires are, as per usual, I feel like going to play with momentum, play with speed in this round, set it to their own pace, and this time they can. They're on that attacking half, and they can just make H2O sweat a little bit. There's 4 sheriffs there and a headhunter, but apart from that, not much to work with on this defense, not much that you can do when you're split so far apart, and mid is such a big control area. On ASCENT, you know, you have mid control, you have a pretty good idea of any way you can go. You know, you can head towards A, you can head towards B, and when you've got rifles, getting mid control is 10 times easier. It's Ananas who's going to try and control that, but 53 HP left. JAF is going to have to head towards there. Human tripwires take it to 50 seconds before they even think about going towards the site.
Well, they've got null command. Remember, H2O, this was a very similar play. 30 seconds left, they used their KO ultimate to get onto the site, and you can see that H2O are expecting it. Look at how far away from this site they're playing from. They want the KO to expend the ultimate, and then they move in after it's worn its course.
It doesn't matter though, they're not going to use it.
30 seconds left.
They know they're on higher economy, they can just walk in and get the spike down. H2O rightly, you know, not wanting to contest that one, but at this point, it's not really worked in their favor, as they just gave human tripwires the opportunity to walk in uncontested, you know, friendly stroll down. 5 people, they're taking up the whole pavement. It's really annoying. I just want to go by you. You're walking very slowly. They get all the way in. H2O now have to try and retake this one. Low economy. There's nowhere they're getting in through, so they're just going to try and cover off every single exit point and make sure they get a pick. Devo finds a first. They need to find a little more. Embo through the wall onto Alex. JAF takes down Devo now. going to be a little harder to get away from that spike, and they need to do it quickly. The teleport is just going to go all the way around. Hattie is now surrounded, but can find one. Not quite. Oh, it's just everywhere around them. It's like a magician's trick. JAF is going to go for that ult point rather than saving that sheriff.
Yeah, and again, you can see the problem for H2O. They could have made it really costly. They could have tried to trigger that null command coming on through, but they play way too far back away from the site. They don't challenge it. And now, on a round where they're investing into weaponry, on a round where they're coming in with rifles, they still have to worry about the null command, something that is going to be so much more punishing, because if you lose this one, especially with that investment into the Odin, which is being bought expecting that null command to come onto that B side, well, you could be just put back for so many rounds in a row.
Oh, Alex manages to find that first pick. We haven't really seen much of Alex compared to what we've seen before. Even when the team gets dominated a little bit, they've managed to get Alex in there and get kills all over the place, but this time he's been relatively quiet for the whole of this series. Maybe just waiting to wake up, but does find one with the tour de force already. Riyadh in the back of the site. JAF is going to make sure nobody even gets towards them, and Anas right around the corner is going to make sure they can't get any more as well, and they'll just spray him down through the smoke there. It's a flawless round for H2O, and that's exactly what they needed.
Yeah, really good coming in, expecting that null command to come onto the B site, putting players in, making sure that you can catch them as they come out of main. The Odin is there so that they can't escape into lane. And H2O able to survive with weaponry, and TOW can now afford the one weapon that enables their chamber. There is a reason why when the rounds swap through, we haven't really got to hear a lot from Alex, but now with the operator, we're expecting the opposite. This is a costly weapon, this is something that has to find a lot of value, this is something you are going to be contested over. If you see where Devo is looking into from mid, and it does mean that human tripwires have to change up their approach. They can't push through mid, they can't push into these long angles without expending a whole amount of utility to make sure the op isn't able to find anything. There's the shot, there's the leg, and Alex, cool as a cucumber, lines it up, gets the pick, and rendezvous out.
You can see how much more comfortable Alex is on that chamber compared to the Neon we saw last map. Just able to get the kills and get out quickly instead of having to not being able to teleport, essentially. Just sitting there and, I mean, can get away from stuff. Managing to find 2 opening picks in a row now. It's whether the team can convert that, because that does seem like the way human tripwires are going to be able to get into this one. It is only the controller taken down, no matter how impactful Embo is as a controller. He's still got that Jet alive. Hattie finds 1, finds 2, and now there is no Jet alive. Robbie is able to get the trade eventually, but it's a 2v4 now. It's a monumentous task with 35 seconds remaining and 2 players on the site you're heading towards.
Yeah, and JAF on that Neon was able to get up from rafters onto site. You have to break the glass, giving away Radsky's position. Shockdot's gonna come through. It's not displacing the operator though, and Robbie has to draw out the shot. It's allowed Radsky to get the pick up in rafters, but with 13 seconds left, Robbie's gonna be able to get this one. It's just the Sova, Riyadh, who's going to be trying to move on through. It is going to be into the lockdown. You don't have Hunter's Fury to destroy it either, Twiggy. You have to try and bait out the position of where they can be.
Oh, not quite getting it with the 2 shock darts. It was very close, but not able to find the mark on that one. Has a recon dart. And in use with this, could be big. Nobody close. Let's check the back corner. Nope, Ratsky finds him through the... I just love that. I love that neither of them, they just both committed to trying to kill each other through the floor there. I'm not going to go towards site. Let's just spray each other through the floor. Who cares? Somebody will find somebody.
And it's really unfortunate as well for H2O that Alex dies as deep onto the A side as they do, because you're not able to pick the operator up.
Yeah, I mean, that was... for teleporting away, Radsky was ready for it that time. You know, this is how many times are we going to let Alex get away with it? Human Tripwise seem to be the adaptation team, the team that seems to be able to just come up with an answer to pretty much anything, no matter how long it takes. This time it's taken a little longer than it did on the first map, but they're able to stop Alex from getting too much impact in that round at the very least. Gets 2 picks, but as soon as they get away, that flanking position is massive from Radsky, and now... Oh, whoa. Whoa. He's floating. That's somebody... I told you, check him PC. Why did nobody check him PC?
It's a magic trick, okay? It's invisible
it's
wires,
just a green screen.
Like lifting.
And it's beautiful.
It's just-
He's swimming.
Aw.
Ah, no. Gravity
It's
is
majestic.
back.
It's the Sova ballerina.
Oop, there goes gravity. Something about spaghetti. I mean, Robbie's spaghetti is absolutely nowhere but in his pockets at the moment. 6,000 credits to work with, 18 and 9, 2.0 KD right now. Absolutely going massive for the team. On Sova, which is not really the, if anybody, that's going to be a mid-table player generally.
It's the smoothest transition I could ever have imagined from that opening, but it's not going to be smooth transition for Human Tripwires from lobby onto that A site. They have lost Devo, they have lost all of the momentum they were looking to create, and instead it's going to be up to Mako to try and check. This is where H2O have loved to set up this crossfire, and it is going to be a crossfire step through, but this time it's going to be Tree and Garden push onto Hattie. And then Ananas is just gonna peek on out with those flash drives and punish the fact that you're trying to take on that Astra. And you can see that Mucky is expecting it, can see the Astra Star, thinking about taking the duel. But all of this is just slowing down, and there's the suppression. Your position has been read, you know that the KO is there, and suddenly you've pressed yourself into a corner. This is a stalemate.
It's a war of attrition. This time H2O are not going to get ants in their pants and head forward too quickly. Oh, Hattie pulls at the wrong time. Lucky turns around the corner right then, and they manage to get away with the kill before they're stopped. Oh, the spray through the smoke almost finds one. And Ananas is taken down by the Nano Swarm. Alex trying to get out of there. JAF is trying to get through, get out of the way. It's not going to happen. They're not going to get on site. They're going to have to try and retake this one, but in comes Radsky from behind once again. The flanking Sentinel flashed all the way up, but Alex isn't going to find the shot, and now the spray through the wall from Riyadh to try and find one more. It's not really going to happen. Shock Dart almost Shock Darts himself. Can't quite find the kill. Robbie is there. It's Human Tripwires 2 rounds away from the victory.
Well, you want to talk about spaghetti? H2O just dropped some on the floor. As all of the pieces were there. They had the crossfire, they had the stars set up in place. The graphical could have been absolutely gorgeous, but once again, it's that sense for timing. The fact that Hattie is caught out in the Gravwell activation animation, and Anas is not actually looking to be able to try and trade out the Astra, backs a little bit too far into Garden, and is not able to help out the Astra when they are pressured. As Human Tripwires just hold their ground, wait for the moment, and then pounce and punish.
Yeah, and the tough decision for H2O whether to play for overtime or play and try and win this round with a force results in them going for an overtime play. Unless they surprise us all with a victory in this round, it's going to be very difficult for them to finish off this game, and Human Tripwires just want to make sure they don't give them a single weapon moving into the next round. Not a single sheriff, nothing to work with whatsoever. They get it done in about 20 seconds. They'll get the spike down. No, never mind. They don't get that extra money, but they don't need it. Let's be honest here. H2O are the ones that need the money, and they're struggling for it right now.
Well, H2O, they are buying an operator. It's not going to be a clean round for them coming out. There are rifles on board, yes, but Alex does not have enough cash to be able to afford both the weapon and heavy armor. So the chamber's going to be a little bit more squishy, but then again, if you're hit, you do have the rendezvous, but that's going to give up a lot of positioning and allow Human Tripwires an inch which they'll very quickly turn into a mile when it comes to getting onto those sites, right? When H2O have tried to go very aggressive and hold the space, Human Tripwires are just able to move forward a little bit and then transition into a full team push. But Alex, there's a reason that Alex has been funneled to the operator by the team. Without the Omen for Human Tripwires, they don't have a very clean way of trying to stun up one of these players and initiate in outside of Mucker, who's going to have an absolutely beautiful flash drive to be able to open things up and let Devo dash in safely.
Radsky is going to throw a Nano Swarm down onto stairs to try and displace JAF, but he's just going to move away of his own volition. Riyadh waiting on lane for the team to come through, but Human Tripwires, they don't want to commit to anything. Make a bit of noise, back all the way out. We have time. 50 seconds, plenty. You know what? We can head back, take mid-control, and we can decide where we want to go from there. They're going to play for picks. They have 4 players remaining. And as soon as they get somebody, I get the feeling it's going to be a quick push all the way through. H2O not wanting to give them anything here, but oh, when you're revealed like that, Riyadh is going to have to back all the way up. You have to throw out his own recon dot, but here comes Devo and Mucky from mid. They've given away their location, but it doesn't matter. Ananas is still going to have pressure on all sides. Doesn't manage to find the first kill with the use of the flash. Mookie will find the first there. Hattie comes in from behind to get the trade. Robbie pushing in onto site. They need to get the spike down, and they're just going to do it in the smoke. Good as place as any. Riyadh doesn't know what's going on at all. Stuck at the back of site. Now has to retake, although he's already on site. Trying to find these players. They're just playing with each other at the perfect angles. They're making sure they can get through. The Hunter's Fury will slow down the players coming all the way through, and Radsky is going to finish it out. It's Human Tripwires with the 2-0 series win.
Yeah, Human Tripwire able to turn it into a post-plant situation, and Alex, not able to drop the operator, is forced to try and find any sort of value and impact with that gun, whereas Human Tripwires have had all of the time in the world to be able to relocate into the back of Boathouse. Hunter's Fury beats out the Astra, takes the duel. Yes, you're able to find one, but you're not able to set your operator player up in lane to find that second pick, and it is not going to be H2O finding their first victory. They are going to face defeat once again.
Yeah, you do get a feeling in that second half that the win condition for H2O was Alex that whole time. You know, picking up an operator or a tour de force, getting that opening pick, getting back and managing to find more value just through positioning and getting away with that one. You know, JAF was on a leash that whole half and not in the fun way whatsoever. And just couldn't really get as much work done as they wanted to heading into that one. And when everything rests on one player and you're playing against a team that adapts so well to your play style, it can only last for so long, that advantage that you have.
Yeah, I will say H2O, they had a much better round though and map than they did on Haven, and you could see the adaptation coming on through, but it was just so late on, right? The fact that they would be able to figure out a strategy and then they would try and use that strategy too many times. And once again, just not able to adapt around and offer multiple solutions, as opposed to Human Tripwires, who saw a problem and then had a textbook essentially from A to D to all the way to G of how they would be able to solve what H2O threw at them, and being unexpected, Bradsky getting to once again move up far too aggressively, far too close for comfort, especially when it became those A retakes. H2O always having to worry about, oh, okay, is window broken? Do we have full rafters control? Is Alex going to actually be able to teleport back to Rendezvous, or is it actually going to be into areas of the map already positioned and held by Human Tripwires? That was when things really started falling apart.
Yeah, you can see, I think it tells you anything. It tells you everything whatsoever when the player with the 3.7 KDA is not the MVP. Radsky comes away with 296 ACS. It was just that second half, Radsky going on flanks every single round. That is the freedom of a Sentinel player like Killjoy, is that when you're on that attacking half, things open up for you so much. You don't have a set role anymore to play. You can just kind of do whatever you want, especially when you're not playing against a true Sentinel like a Cypher or a Killjoy. So Radsky gets that open position to be able to go around the back. Got, I think, probably about 6 or 7 kills alone through window up on rafters there. So managing to get so much value in that second half, and I think that was a big difference maker, so definitely deserving that MVP.
Yeah, and that's stuff that shouldn't happen, right?
Yeah.
Because you break window, it's a sound cue. You know that the Killjoy is there. And one thing that Killjoy, yes, you get a lot of information from things like your turrets, and you're very good at delaying pushes. What you don't have is smokes to cover yourself, right? You look at Cypher, you've got the cages that you can put down and you can move through, and you can really play with the paranoia. Is the Cypher in the smoke? Are they outside of the smoke? Are they to the side of the smoke? Like, all of that goes into the mind games of a 1 versus 1 for Cypher. With a Killjoy, you go, oh, there she is, shoot her, and then you're done with it. And honestly, like, there should have been a lot more punishment on Radsky, and it was something that H2O they struggled with on Haven when it came to window control, and they struggled with it again on Ascent.
Yeah, but I do think there are positives here for H2O. This was, I think, their best map out of any map they've played so far in Polaris here. They've got, well, they're 3 weeks through now. They haven't managed to take a map, but this is probably the best series that they've had overall. I think, actually, no, they took 13 rounds over the course of the two games, so not the best series overall, but I think that was a good map. It was something that they can build off. You definitely saw glimpses of potential there. It seemed like they had a plan for the first 20 seconds of the round. If it didn't quite go their way, it kind of fell apart from there. But there was definitely positives from them. You could see JAF going off incredibly on the attacking half. You could see that Alex was able to get some value on the defensive half. It's just being able to convert that into something meaningful over the course of a whole map that they really need to work on, I would say. Maybe, obviously, they know more about that than me in terms of what's going on internally. But I do think that there is definitely stuff to build off there.
Yeah, there's synergy. There's definitely synergy. And I mean, they do remind me a lot of 10 Star on Split 1, where they were trying to work Doma into that roster, and you could see that there were teething problems. Part of the team wanted to go forward super aggressively, the other half of the team wanted to hold a lot further back, and there wasn't a lot of crossfires. There weren't trades being made because you were so aggressively forward. And you look at how Haven was played, with the Neon going really far forward and everyone else holding so far back that when the Neon does get downed, no one is in position to try and refrag. And then you compare it to how they're actually playing off of JAF, the amount of setup that the Neon was getting from the rest of the team, the fact that when the side swapped and the defense came through, people were seeing crossfires being held with the KO and the Astra, so that if you pushed on one, you would get punished. Like, there are the foundations for a very strong team. The thing is, it's just going to take time. It was something that H2O struggled with in the last split, and the fact that they've only really got JAF from the old roster still on. You're now having 4 new players step up to the plate, trying to find that same level of synergy with that same very small frame of time. It can be extremely difficult.
Well, we're going to have an interview with the 3.7 KD man himself, Robbie here. We have to talk to. Hello, Robbie. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, what's up? Doing great.
Great. I mean, it was a brilliant game from you guys. Obviously, a great series, managing to take it away 2-0. You're about halfway through the season. You're at a 2-1 win record. Are you already well prepared for your next 4 games, or what's going on? Homework left to do on the other teams, or are you feeling confident?
We got a lot of homework left to do still. I mean, like on our Excel game, everything just didn't feel right. We had a new roster, and we tried to play a very structured game, and it just didn't work for us. So right now we're just playing very loose, letting everyone kind of shot call and everything. So we just feel much better now, and yeah, I think we're gonna do great.
One thing that you guys got to run into twice, actually, in this series was the Neon coming through. Obviously, with Jet getting nerfed, Neon is a lot more common. But we did see immediate punishment coming on out. Is there any sort of tactic that you have to really punish Neon's over-aggressive playstyle?
So for Haven, not gonna lie, it felt really easy in a sense. We just played like slow defaults and just tried to figure out where the Neon was playing and basically just go to opposite side. Because we know if you go A, she's just gonna stun you in short and you're gonna die. So we just played it very default-ish, tried to read them, and we just kept going C every time. And for ASCENT, I don't know. I feel like we just lost aim fights. Obviously, like again, same thing. We just play slow defaults, and it seemed to work.
Yeah, I mean, we noticed you played relatively reactively. Is that something to do with the map pool? Obviously, you're playing against a team with a very opposite map pool to you. They like Fracture, you like Breeze. Neither of them got played because you insta-banned them. Was that part of the plan? Did you know that they were going to ban Breeze and that you'd have to rethink stuff, or were you kind of prepared for that or not?
We were prepared. Historically, like, our ASCENT has been really good, and our split is good as well. So in the end of the day, like, we just kind of target banned, or I guess they were good on Fracture. I don't even know.
And one thing that we're actually noticing that's extremely different to all of the other regions competing in this same tournament is the agent pick rates, right? Fade has been coming up a lot in other regions. We've only seen her once in Polaris. Is there a reason you think that teams here are so stuck on Sova as opposed to swapping up to the new agent?
I think it's just the time that we have to prepare for. Like, obviously, if you're like a newer team, you might just be like, YOLO, let's do it. But we already prepared a lot of maps with Sova and Sky and Breach and those kind of agents. So if we go Fade on every map right now, even though she could be really strong, I don't think it's gonna work out very well for us. So
right, well, I mean, yeah, okay, you don't have a flawless record this season so far. Obviously, only 2 teams do. You're 2-1. You lost your first game to XL. Can we put that down to teething issues now? Because you look very confident in these last 2 series. Or, are there still areas to patch up in that sense? Or are you just like, you're much more comfortable now?
we're much more comfortable now. Like everyone is on the Excel game, like everything was just off. Like our comms were off, everything was delayed. We would say like let's go A, and then we would have two people still in mid just shift walking. Like it just didn't feel right. So now we're much more confident, and we think we can do some damage now in the group.
So you had a really good pop-off moment on multiple rounds on that last map of Ascent where you were able to get really deep into the enemy lines on that Sentinel role, which is something that we can expect a lot of duelists to be able to pull off quite flawlessly, but on the Killjoy it can be a little bit harder. Was there a secret to your survival rate?
I mean, Rescue was the Killjoy, not me. I was the Sova, but
Sorry.
I guess he did great. He's good.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously you have a lot of praise for the rest of the team. How are things synergy-wise? You guys feeling good together? What's going on behind the scenes in terms of, you know, how you guys feel with playing with each other? You mentioned, you know, there was a little bit of that lack of synergy in that first game. Are things, you know, light and, you know, kind of simple between you guys? Or is it a very kind of strict, let's do this and kind of very, you know, well-structured thing going on?
We tried the very structured thing at first. But it just didn't feel realistic for us. Like, as I said before, like a lot of comms were just too slow and it just didn't feel right. So right now, we just have Mukai gelling for the team, and all of us, we can just give inputs and shot call and everything.
Great. Well, congratulations on the win. You're now at a positive win record, and you're moving up there in that leaderboard. So well done on that win, buddy. We'll talk to you later. Thanks for coming on with us.
Can I say one last thing?
Go for it.
I gotta say, I feel really bad for Finest. We're gonna play them after Heat. And yeah, as I just said, I just feel so bad because we're gonna kill Kicks. We're just gonna see where he is. We're gonna kill him, and they're gonna play 4v5 permanently. So yeah, I wish them good luck.
Well, Finest, there's your warning. You guys have a little bit of time to come up with some way to stop them from doing that, but I think that's a pretty well-founded threat. Well, thank you for talking to us, buddy. Yeah, we'll talk to you later. Congratulations once again on your win.
All right, cheers.
All right, well, that will be it for the first series. We're going to come back to you again very shortly with our second, so don't go anywhere. It's still just going to be as exciting as that first one. Thank you very much, guys.